There's a few different items that Visvim is well known for producing, and for me, a lot of the items that I tend to gravitate towards are Visvim jackets. They incorporate several different techniques from the brand that I find to be the most enjoyable. That's, use of material, overall craftsmanship, and just silhouette overall. There's a few items that people automatically associate with the brand, and the jacket that we're going to be reviewing today is one of those pieces. For me, the Iris jacket is like the essential Visvim jacket. It's very much well known to be associated with the brand. While it is based on vintage military workwear, it's an item that I think has a place in just about any closet. Throughout the years, Visvim has released a few different iterations of the jacket, but my current favorite version is the jacket cut. There is also a liner cut that has been previously released, and it's the famous pink one that John Mayer wears. That's typically the one that most people think about when we're discussing the Iris. Regardless of which color, material, or, style choice that you select, for me, the Iris jacket is one of those pieces that is super easy to wear and can pretty much be called an essential from the brand. Now, while there are a few different people that do not own any irises, I do believe that this is one of those jackets that, most people have some sort of experience with. And there's enough variations of the jacket throughout the years that I think there really is just about a piece for everyone. I don't have every single detail memorized, so let me go ahead and look for the year of release. The first Iris jacket that I'm going to be showing is this FIL exclusive from 2023. This was a trunk show order that was placed back in, I want to say fall of 2022 or something like that. This is one of the nicer blues that I've personally seen released, and this Iris jacket really does have all the different hits that the brand is known for. So if it's not apparent, this is composed of a nylon shell, and it has been mud dyed, so it does have a nice little matte sheen to it. Another detail that I really enjoy is the fact that the ribbing, because of that mud dye treatment, you're able to see some of the different wear throughout the fabric being used. The zipper is another hardware component that I really enjoy. This is one of those heavy metal zippers that, Iris jackets have kind of become synonymous with. And the thing that I really enjoy about the Iris jacket is that it still leans into its liner heritage, right? This type of silhouette was typically meant to be worn underneath, bigger outerwear layers. And so the fact that the brand stayed kind of true to what this kind of jacket was meant for, I think is really interesting. The other component that I find super versatile about this jacket is the fact that it's reversible. While I do enjoy the plain side that's being used on the outer shell, the inner shell is also very interesting. It's this quilted rayon fabric, and I believe it's 100% rayon on the interior. And it's something that differentiates it just enough from some of the other jackets that I already own and makes the piece a really interesting piece to look at. You also have some inner elbow patches that I think give off a nice little detail. And while most people will tend to gravitate towards a green colorway or a black colorway in this type of a jacket, I really enjoy the Iris jackets in this blue colorway. Now, I personally don't own any of the liner jackets, and that's because they fit entirely way too small for me to actually attempt to put on. But for me, the overall jacket cut is really enjoyable because you can wear it as a single layer with a t-shirt, or you can wear it under a larger piece of outerwear. Another cool component is that you do have these two pockets on the interior. This is one of those pieces that it's not really meant for every single climate. If you live in an area where it's really tropical, the nylon's not necessarily going to help with staying cool. But I think in an area like LA where it doesn't necessarily get really, really cold or anything like that, I think you could definitely use this as a single layer piece where you can kind of get away with wearing a single layer jacket. And so this is kind of ideal for the 50 to 70 degree weather. Moving on to a jacket that was one of my very first videos on this channel. This is the ICT Iris jacket. I believe this one is either from 2023 or 2024. Let me check. This one is from 2024. I got a text from the sales associate at Visvim. She had sent me a picture of this, and immediately when I saw it during my lunch break, I drove to Visvim Exposition and picked it up. This is made of the very same fabric that one Thorson jacket was made out of. And while I really did enjoy that Thorson jacket, sometimes it feels a little bit too balloony for me. So when I saw that it had been released in this Iris jacket cut, I was very interested in picking it up. All the different panels and textures from the different nylons being used here give it a nice little visual element. while keeping it kind of monochromatic with the consistent use of olive throughout the rest of the jacket. All of these different panels have a very nice texture. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this one has been mud dyed and treated to kind of have that low sheen. But this nylon here on certain portions of like the body of the jacket is really, really soft and almost reminds me of like a rayon. But nonetheless, it is completely composed of a 100% nylon material. You do have the same Riri zipper that was showcased in the previous jacket, and it has like a nice like tactical feel. It's like a very sturdy zipper, and it's one of those things where it's like when the hardware doesn't feel cheap, like the jacket just feels much more elevated. You do have the classic like military taping on the zipper. One of the details that I really enjoy about this jacket, I don't necessarily wear it this way, but the fact that they included this, you know, to have that reversible function along with the graphics of like the Battle of Little Bighorn, I think it's really cool when Visvim offers items like this. They've done it in the past, like seldomly, but it has been done to where you can actually wear the pattern if you wanted to. Now, I don't personally wear it this way, but I think it's cool that you can. For those of you that don't know, this used to be like this like natural like cotton linen type of fabric. Now it's 100% rayon, but the different colors throughout the graphics still remain the same, right? You still have a little bit of mud dyeing for like the different red tones, and you do have some indigo dyeing for a little bit of the blue tones. So I think that that's an enjoyable component of this jacket. And again, while it's very, you know, it's not for everyone to wear it this way, including myself, I think it's cool that you're kind of given the option to, if you really wanted to be out there bold and all that stuff. And staying true to the typical liner silhouette that this jacket is inspired by, you do have the different like buttonholes for you to be able to place it under like a parka. And I believe in the video where I recorded this, I still wasn't showing any on-body footage, so this is kind of meant to make up for that. I do think it's very interesting that you're able to do that if you so please to. But to me, the regular like side of this is such an interesting mix of different nylon materials and paneling details to where, like, for me, this piece is so fire. And while it isn't like my first or last Iris jacket purchase, I think this is probably the most unique version I have and the one that I enjoy the most. Also, I don't know what they did with this silhouette in 2024, but for me, this is also like the most comfortable. Like, you have the most like shoulder and like armhole room. And for me, sometimes Visvim jackets fit very well in like the chest and in like the body area, but the like armhole is a little bit small, and so it's kind of like snug when I like try moving my arms around. But for me, this jacket feels a little bit more roomy than previous versions that I have, and so I really enjoy the overall fit and look of this particular release. All right, moving on to the next one. So the next jacket, I believe I might have already shown it on the channel, but nonetheless, it's probably like the most true interpretation of this style of jacket that I personally own. This is the Iris jacket from, I want to say, let's see. This is the blue release from 2022. This one was also a trunk show order, which is why it was given to me in this like wood hanger along with like a white garment bag that most like jacket purchases from trunk shows are used to be delivered in. But this is probably the truest interpretation of this jacket that I own. And also for me, while I do enjoy the green one that I just showed a little bit more, I think this one does have a, you know, a little special sentimental place for me. The Iris jacket was one of those pieces, you know, the whole premise of this video is talking about how it's essential almost as a Visvim collector, and it's something that most people end up owning or having some kind of experience with, you know, when buying from the brand. And for me, this was the first time that I was able to buy an Iris jacket in the size and style that I wanted. I myself tried going for the Iris liner cut very early on, like that pink iteration, the one that we were talking about with like John Mayer or whatever, but that thing will just straight up not fit me. Like, I know guys that are like maybe 100 pounds lighter than me, and to them, like the size 5 is already super snug. So it was practically impossible for me to ever get into one of those. But the fact that Visvim started releasing these like larger jacket cuts made it extremely comfortable for me to wear and to experience. Like, I still enjoy wearing these with like a hoodie underneath. And so while the weather in California doesn't make it so that, I need to wear this too often. I think that I really enjoy being able to layer different pieces underneath that aren't just a t-shirt. And while I think that that look is really cool, it's just nice to know that there's a bit more room and I can get away with layering. Because I think that's kind of like the whole point of fall winter. Like we all enjoy putting on more clothes, and being able to kind of play with textures and fabrics. And so I think that that's what really draws my attention towards the jacket cut, is just the ability to have it be a little bit more versatile than just wearing a t-shirt underneath. So this version does also have the same re zipper that I showcased on the last two jackets. You do also have the hole so that you can use this as like a liner if you wanted to button it up to something. Something that I may not have mentioned on the other ones, you do have these like little snap button adjusters on the cuffs, and I don't really ever use it. I pretty much just leave them on the whole time. Otherwise, it feels a little bit balloony. Something I might not have mentioned on the previous two jackets, you do have these darts on the back of the chest. You have the same two slanted pockets on the front of the jacket. You do also have that reversible detail that you do on the other two. There's been a few Iris jackets that aren't reversible to my knowledge, but I tend to like the reversible cuts because it's like you're getting a 2-for-1. And while this jacket has also been mud dyed, so you have that matte sheen with the nylon, I think the interior gray color is what really drew me towards this jacket. It's like a nice slate blue, and the little details from the nylon elbow pads make it an extremely interesting jacket to look at. And while this color isn't necessarily the most versatile, I actually find it a little bit more difficult to wear gray than to do a black or a brown. Just because a lot of my clothes doesn't necessarily gravitate towards the gray color palette. But I think that this has enough of a blue tint to it to where you can kind of wear it with some darker denim and things like that. Another detail that I really enjoy about this release is the fact that the taping on the zipper is that nice dark blue color. So when you wear it with a contrasting t-shirt underneath, I think it provides a nice little effect on the overall fit. And for me, again, this is probably the truest interpretation of what a traditional Visvim Iris jacket is, and it's one of my most enjoyable pieces that I don't wear as much as I would want to because it's just been so hot lately, but I'm really looking forward to wearing this in the next couple months. I mean, what else is there left to say? This is one of those classic Visvim pieces that I think we all enjoy. And one thing that I should mention though is that the mud dyeing and the nylon can be a pain in the ass. If you get a stain on it, if you try spot cleaning it with just water, you might end up with an even bigger stain. So just keep that in mind. This fabric is a little bit more gentle, and while it's something that is really enjoyable to touch and to look at, sometimes wearing these jackets can become a chore. I wore one of mine in the rain previously, and I was kind of left with these interesting water stains on it. So just keep that in mind when purchasing. I hope you guys enjoyed this closer look at the Iris jacket. For me, it is one of my favorite jacket pieces and outerwear pieces that the brand offers. I'm really looking forward to potentially picking up a black colorway. I don't really have a lot of black jackets in my collection, so the fact that I already got the blues covered and the greens covered, I'd really like to venture out. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is the Iris jacket something that you've either picked up or something that you enjoy? Until next time, thank you all again for tuning in. Peace.